My name is Lorna Rae Daniel, and the title of my film is Flightless.
My name is Chantel Clark, and the title of my documentary is Slipstream.
I'm Dani Sher, and my film title is Dancing Deaf.
I've always had this dream for working for National Geographic or Discovery or Animal Planet, one of those amazing shows. I was going to do my documentary on the Cape clawless otter, but they're very hard to find, so I had to change my idea. So my subjects are penguins.
The subject of my film is quite a long answer. It's a group of township kids from Hout Bay. They're members of an NGO called the Hout Bay Cycling Club. I found out about the club a few weeks before we started pitching for our documentaries, and it just struck me as interesting that the township in Hout Bay is actually such a huge part of the Hout Bay community, but a lot of people don't really pay attention to it or don't want to pay attention to it.
My subject is a ballet dancer who was born with a severe hearing impairment, and my documentary is about how she managed to become a dancer despite her impairment. I mentioned to her in passing that I was looking for topics for a documentary that I was busy doing, and she actually offered herself up as a possible subject, so that was great.
The first steps in planning my documentary, well, first off was finding penguins. Second step was to organise permits. I didn't get the permits, so I filmed anyways, but not in the restricted areas, so technically I'm not stepping on anyone's toes. I then couldn't film exactly what I wanted to film and how I wanted to film it, so I had to restructure all my shots.
The pre-production process was actually the least stressful, the least challenging or difficult part of this whole process, because at that point I felt like I had control over the situation. I was like, okay, getting my shot list down, I know what equipment I need. I got a little timetable going for myself, and I thought, okay, these are the days I can go down to the club, but in reality none of it really works like that.
The first day was definitely the most challenging for me because I have very limited experience on the 5D camera, and I didn't really know what I was doing. So I had a few people to help, well, basically David helping me, and so that helped a bit, but I still felt very disorganized, and I'm a big control freak, so if somebody cancels on me or if the location is too small, I won't think about it logically and try to come up with a solution. I'll first have a panic attack and then I'll think up a solution.
My first day was supposed to be just a scouting day, and I took my camera with so that just in case I saw anything, and it actually turned into more of a shooting day, and I've ended up using a lot of that footage because the days after that the penguins just disappeared. So when I look at it now, even though it was a scouting day, it has now become a shooting day.
My first day of shooting was just a disaster. I mean, it basically turned into a extended location scout, because I think there was a bit of miscommunication about what I was actually doing there, between some people thinking I was taking photographs and other people not realizing that I actually wanted to interview people. And so I got to the club as the boys were setting off on their ride and kind of rushed into the car, tried to get some footage of them cycling. It was quite disastrous.
For the rest of the shoots, I can't think of anything that went badly. Everybody was highly cooperative, and I was lucky in that everything went very smoothly for me. I was actually very lucky on the first day because as it turns out, the children at the Carol du Toit Centre have all signed indemnity forms stating that they can be filmed. And so unexpectedly I was able to film a class with the deaf children. I think the biggest challenge for the rest of the days is that I didn't have an assistant, because David Platt somehow managed to break his rib and was unable to help me. And so I was basically a one-man team going into all of these dodgy areas by myself with heavy equipment.
I got a GoPro from a friend of mine, and I got some awesome shots of the penguins under the water. So I was very excited about that because I was very nervous about not getting underwater shots of the penguins because they're skittish and they swim extremely fast. So also when I came back on the third day after shooting some of the penguins on the second day, they were still there in the same place. So it was wonderful. I could get extra shots that I needed that I hadn't got the previous time. The last day was just beautiful with all the penguins going there earlier. So I think the last day was a good end note to my filming. So that was very positive because everything went as planned. Got there really early in the morning, 7:15, and then got set up. The penguins were making their beautiful jackass call, the donkey-like call, which I needed for sound, so I got that. Went and did the time lapse. Beautiful sunrise. I thought it was going to be rainy and cloudy, but it wasn't. It was clear. It was perfect. And all the penguins came out because it was morning and they were waking up, going for their stretch, going for their swim. So there were a lot of penguins on the beach, which was really nice.
Well, currently Simone is working for a company called Ballet, and they're busy with a production called Private Presley. I only filmed the beginning of the actual rehearsal. What I filmed mostly was the class that precedes that, where they warm up and learn new techniques. I was able to get up close and actually see Simone in her work environment and how she actually copes. One of the scarier aspects of that day was climbing onto this massive platform to get a high angle shot of the dancers. I am not the most coordinated of people, so trying to negotiate myself as well as a camera, tripod and sound kit onto a ladder of death was not the most enjoyable of experiences. But once I was up there, I got some great shots.
I'm gonna say that things have not gone well in terms of shooting. It's pretty much one challenge after another. What did go well is on the Saturday that they do their long day ride, we went to Sea Point with them, and just by chance they happened to be meeting a French cycling club there, and they were doing a handover of a check, and also some gear, and so it was really nice to sort of get an idea of the club's reach. And so we got a speech from some of the organisation members, and that was quite nice because it wasn't planned, but it went well. Other than that, the shooting has been very difficult.
It's completely different. With the fiction filmmaking, I can control everything. You have rehearsals, you have lighting setups, you do everything before. Where non-fiction, I feel that there's a lot of things not in your control, so you can't predict what people or animals are going to do. You can't say, listen, actually, I want you to waddle over there, penguin, because they're not going to do that. Also, shooting on the beach, you can't really tell the sun, just go back a few hours because the lighting's not great. I think of shots and I want to try get those shots, and when I can't get those shots, I get a little bit tense, and I'm like, okay, how can I get those shots? How can I make it? So it was a big challenge to learn to just let go and observe and try make the best of that shot.
It's been difficult to think creatively in those moments of difficulty when you're panicking because something is going wrong because of logistics, and then you have to try and think about getting a wide shot and a medium shot and a close-up all from different angles. Whereas that's just inherently part of your process in a fiction film. You just know that's what you have to do. But here, and especially because of my mode, which is observational, I feel like it's been difficult for me to try and capture everything that's happening, but at the same time think about it in a way that would be interesting to edit together.
The documentary filmmaking process has been more stressful in a way because you're basically relying on people to do you favors. I can't pay people to cooperate with me. They just have to do it out of the goodness of their own heart, and when somebody would change a time, I would automatically think, oh no, they're bailing on me and this documentary just isn't going to work out.
I mean, no one ever goes into film because they think it's going to be easy. I didn't choose film because I thought it was going to be, something safe and easy. Would I make another documentary? Ooh, loaded question.
I would like to make another documentary in the future, because a lot of the logistics sort themselves out, and I just have to rock up with a camera and get as much as I can. I think it's definitely a format that suits me better than narrative film.
I feel like at some point later in my life, when I am able to not be a complete psychopath when things go wrong, I would definitely like to make another documentary. And maybe when I have a little bit more belief in myself and I don't start suffering from crippling self-doubt the moment something goes wrong.
I would love to make another documentary. I think if I were to make another documentary, it would still be on wildlife. It was just rewarding to finally do something that I love, to film animals, to make a documentary about these beautiful creatures and create awareness to people that they're endangered and their population is decreasing.
I think that because I've in the past I've mainly focused on editing. I haven't been involved in actual production processes a lot. I think that I've learned a bunch of new skills that I didn't have before. That's been the biggest draw.
The rewarding part of this whole process will definitely be when it comes to an end. I hope that maybe the film will be rewarding for someone else, in that if the NGO can use it, in terms of promotion, all of it will have been worth it. I would just very much love for you to be able to tell someone exactly what you needed and then have them, give it to you. In the bedroom, obviously. Can't even do this.
Okay, people, get it together.